Okay, all right, everyone. So, guys, till now, what we have done is we have done the index documents code, where we got an understanding that what this is going to, this is where your PDF gets uploaded. Then there is text splitting that is happening, and documents are getting indexed. We have this idea by now. Yes. So till here, you have your chunking ready. You have all the splits being uploaded to Azure. You have done all of that as of now. All right. The next part that we're interested in, in services directory, we have something called as video indexer. And as of now, let us try and build video indexer. Okay. So firstly, what is video indexer per se? Okay. Now you can think of video indexer as a connector. Okay. Why I'm calling it as a connector? Because it basically bridges the gap between your Python code and Azure cloud where the video indexer lives. So this is like a connector between Python and your Azure video indexer. All right. Okay. Now, first and foremost, what we'll do is we'll start with the standard, importing of libraries. I'll start with importing OS. I'll import time. I'll import logging. I will import requests. Then I'll import something called as YTDLP. YTDLP basically helps you download the YouTube video. Okay. And then from Azure.identity, okay, you import something called as default Azure credential. All right, these are just some security measures that we typically take when we work with Azure. Okay, and then obviously we're calling the favorite logger. Yeah, so logging dot get logger, and we're going to log it under the term called as video indexer. Now what I'll do is I'll first and foremost create a class called as video indexer service. Okay. All right, guys. So we'll do the same thing again. We'll try to script the code once, and then we'll get a high level understanding of what the code is about. Okay. So first and foremost, in this, let's create a class, and in this class, let us try to pass in it takes in certain parameters. Okay, it takes the account ID. Okay, and account ID as in it takes the Azure VI account ID, right? So this is something that we have already passed in our .env variables, right? After this, it will take location. We have also set the location already. Yeah. So we'll just say os.getEnv, and we're going to pass Azure VI location. After this, it is going to take the subscription ID as well. Yeah. And subscription ID is also something that we have already passed in our Azure, in our .env variable, subscription ID, right? After this, we can also take the resource group. So self.resource underscore group, okay, equal to os.getEnv Azure resource group. Okay. And after that, we can also take self.vi name, right, which is nothing but your name of your video index, right? So I'm going to call it Azure VI name, and in our case the name is what, if you can recall, we had given the name as Project Guardian. Now I have given Project Guardian 001. In your case, you have to check what name you had given. Okay, and just make sure that you put the same. All right, and I'll just put my self credential to, I'll just initialize default Azure credential here. Okay. Now in video indexer service, there is actually also, a layer of security that we need to build, and that is called as this self-access. This is access token. Okay. Now, what we need to do is we need to, in this case, okay, um, typically Azure, this is actually authentication. Okay. Uh, Azure typically has two layers of security. Okay. This is where we get something called as an ARM token. Okay. It is like, it basically asks your Azure management system that, hey, you know what, I have logged into the VS Code. Can you temporarily pass to prove who I am? Okay, it's like an authentication. Okay. And once this is done, you get we create one more function called as get account token. And it basically takes the pass from here. Okay. And walks over to that specific video indexer, and your Python will say that, hey, you know what, now I have proved who I am, and now give this key to the specific account. So basically we are creating a security layer between VS Code and the Azure video indexer. Okay. Basically, this code that we are writing, this gives you permission to edit the specific project. It's like an authorization. Okay. Now, this is just a simple code that we generally write. Okay. All right. So let's get it here. So I would say generates an ARM. Now, please don't worry if you don't understand this code. This code is generally available. Okay, so these are just two lines of security layer. You can directly copy paste it. Don't worry. Okay. Without this, you won't be able to establish a connection between your Python or VS Code and Azure VI indexer. Okay, or you won't be able to communicate with it. As simple as that. All right. So I'll be putting try, and then I'll create a variable called as token object, and then I'll say self.credential.get token. And for get token, what I'll do is I'll pass a link here. Okay, https management.azure.com. Yeah, this is where it gets the access token from. All right. And then it returns what? It returns token object dot token. All right, it returns the token. We'll create an exception. Okay, if there is any error, if you are unable to generate the token, okay, then we'll just say failed to get Azure token, and I'll put E. Okay, and I'll raise it. Cool. And after this, once the token is generated, we need to pass that token, right? So this is where we'll receive the account token. Okay. The ARM access token. Okay. The ARM access token will be received here. Okay. Now this, what happens here is basically this exchanges the ARM token. I would say exchanges the ARM token for video indexer account team. Okay. So this token, it will generate the token, and now it will take this token and pass this token to video indexer. Yeah. So that you can now integrate or work around with indexer. Okay. Now in here, what we typically do is that there are certain things that we pass. There are some URLs that need to be passed. Okay. Then along with URLs, then there are some headers, then payloads, all of that. Okay. I would suggest you directly copy paste. Don't really think over it. These are just layers of security. These codes are directly available. You just have to make sure you integrate that. Okay. So I'll just pass a bunch of URLs in here. In fact, I have those URLs. Let me just copy paste it. Yeah. As I said, these are ready-made codes. Yeah. These are just layers of security. Okay. So these are the URLs, typically where your tokens get exchanged. Okay. Firstly, I'll also pass headers. Okay. I'll just say authorization. Okay. And then I'll say bearer ARM access token. So it takes at the authorization level, it takes the ARM access token. Payload, It at payload level, it takes the permission type. The permission here is that of a contributor, right? And the scope here is that of account. Okay. After this, we'll store our response in requests.post URL. Okay. Yeah. Now we'll be sending our request, right? So headers equals to headers, and payload, we want it in JSON format, the payload that we have defined above. Okay. Now if the response status, okay, or status code is not equal to 200, which means if it is not working, if the response is not working, then what do we do is we raise an exception, right? So raise exception, and what do we raise the exception as? We say failed to get the VI account token. Okay. And we'll also print what is the response text here. All right. And response, just a minute, response text. No, sorry. Yeah, this is better. Okay. And yeah, else we'll just return the response in JSON. Okay. Where we'll be fetching the access token. Okay. See, these are just layers of security that we had written. Okay. A token will be generated. Then the token, this is where, you'll be basically pasting your token, putting your token, and you'll be basically getting all these credentials. Okay. You'll be hitting to this particular URL with your access tokens. Okay. And yeah, if you don't get the access token, or an error will be generated, else you will get the access token. All right. Now what we'll do is we will now create a function, okay, to download the YouTube video. Okay, see, the user is going to paste a YouTube URL, right? And once the user pastes the YouTube URL, we need to download that temporarily, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a function called as download YouTube video. Okay, I'm going to pass in self, I'm going to pass in URL, I'm going to pass in output path. Okay, and I want to store that video as temp video.mp4. And if you can recall, this video later gets uploaded, right, to search sorry, Azure blob storage, and then my video indexer will fetch this video from blob storage, correct? So what this function does is basically it downloads the YouTube video to a local file. Okay, as simple as that. So wait, what happened? Okay, downloads the YouTube video to a local file. All right, and we'll also log it. So we'll say logger.info. Okay, and I'll say downloading YouTube video. Okay, and paste in the, and here goes the URL. All right, and then there are some YDL options as well. Okay, so basically when it comes to the video, the format has to be this one, right? The force MP4 format. So this is what we need to define. These are just some things that we need to define in here. Okay, you might ask, do we have to kind of remember all of this? No, see, these codes are available, okay, on the documentation page, etc. Okay, and that is where you can just get it. Okay, and then we'll also put quite equals to true, not equals to, sorry. Yeah. Okay, and I'll put overrides equals to true. Yeah, so if someone pastes, I mean changes, let's say if I create, if I put a URL and then it's late. After that, I replace that URL. So I'm going to override that. Okay. So that a new video gets downloaded or temporarily stored. All right. Now what we'll do is we will ask the YTDLP that we have to download the video. Okay, using what? Using something called YouTube DL. We will pass these formats or whatever parameters that we have passed. We're going to pass them here. Okay, this is typically where we open the video. Okay, or I would say not open the video, open the URL. Okay, so we're going to open the URL. Okay, and then what we'll do is we'll download that URL. When I say download that URL, it means download the video from URL. Okay, and then once this is done, we'll just say logger.info download complete. Okay, all right, and then what I'll do is I'll return the output path. Okay, and then what I'll do is I will pass an exception here. I will raise the exception. If it is unable to do that, so we'll just say YouTube video download failed, and then we'll also pass the error, right? What was the error exactly? Okay, all right, now once we have downloaded the video, we need to upload the local file, which means we need to upload the video to Azure Video Indexer, right? So here we have downloaded the YouTube video. Now we need to upload it to Azure Video Indexer, correct? So I'll just put it here. Upload the video to Azure Video Indexer, right? So we'll create a function. I'll call that function as upload video. Okay, and it takes in the video path. All right, and it also takes in the video name, correct? And first and foremost, it also needs the ARM token, right? The ARM token that we had generated in the earlier function, and we'll take the token here. Okay, we'll also take so we'll also get the account token. Okay, and in here we'll just pass the ARM token. All right, and we'll kind of store that as VI token. Okay, and then I also need to pass the API URL. Okay, now the API URL, this is basically from where we are going to access, or rather where we're going to upload the video. This is where you will be you can think of this as an endpoint where you will be able to access the uploaded video. Okay, so the link goes something like http api dot video indexer dot ai. Okay, and then it takes the location, and after the location then there's accounts, and then it also takes the account ID. Okay, and videos, right? So this is typically where you will be able to access the uploaded video. Okay, and what are the parameters? The parameters are firstly the access token. Okay, and your access token is nothing but the VI token. Okay, the virtual index token. Then name is nothing but the video name. All right, then we have the privacy. Okay, so we'll keep the privacy as private. We don't yeah, so I think this is self-explanatory. And then we'll keep the indexing preset as default, right? So yeah, okay, fine, this looks good. Now what we're going to do is we'll just say logger.info. Okay, and we'll say uploading the file. Okay, uploading the file which is at this video path. okay, to Azure. All right, so whatever we have downloaded, we are now going to upload it. Okay, now what we'll do is we will open the file in binary mode and stream it on Azure. Okay, in simple terms, you can think of this like you are opening the video and kind of accessing it on Azure, as simple as that. Okay, so now we are not accessing the video on local, we are now able to access the video on Azure. Okay, so here we are opening the video file. Okay, and then we'll say which file, file as in the video file that we have. Okay, and then we'll just kind of say requests.post. Okay, we will hit the API URL, the API URL link that we have created here. We will open the video and we will stream it here, which means we'll kind of push it there. Yeah, or we not push it there, I would say we'll see if we are able to access it from there. Okay, and then files equals to files. All right, okay, looks good. Now let's say what if we are unable to access. Okay, this should be params. Okay, now let's say what if we are able to we are unable to access, right, which means the response dot status code is not equal to 200. Then what we'll do is we'll raise an exception. Okay, and we'll say that Azure upload failed. Okay, and we'll also put response.text. Some issue happened, right? So we are trying to open the video and we are trying to upload it here, right? We are trying to see if we are able to upload, but let's say if it does not happen, then will be facing an error here. All right, and now what will happen is we'll kind of wait for processing. Okay, see, the thing is all this processing is happening, right? So what we'll do is we'll create a function called as wait for processing. All right, and in here it takes the video ID. Okay, so first and foremost we'll just say logger.info. Okay, waiting for the video, which means the video ID, okay, to process. Obviously, so many things are happening, you need to wait for the processing to happen. Which processing? It's basically the uploading of this video to the Azure video indexer. So this is basically the waiting code that we are writing. Okay, so as long as this is happening, it will keep on accessing the ARM token, right? Unless and until it does not get the ARM token, it will keep on hitting, right? So we'll just self dot get account token. Yeah, and this takes in the ARM token, right? So it will keep on hitting or searching for the ARM token, because unless and until it does not get the ARM token, it won't be able to push this video in the VI indexer. All right, so all right, so what will happen is it will keep on looking for the URL. Okay, or rather it will keep on hitting this URL, right? Which URL? This URL that we have pasted here. So I'll just copy paste this as it is. Yeah, and which parameters? The access token, which is nothing but the VI token. Okay, and then it will keep on hitting, right? So it will keep on checking if a response is getting generated or not, right? Params equals to params. It will look for those parameters and then it will generate the response in JSON, whatever response you get. Okay, now what will happen is, because we are using LangGraph, we will be getting the data from that particular state, which is JSON. Okay, now if the state is equal to processed, Okay, then we're going to return the data, which means if everything gets processed, we are going to return the output. Let's say if the state is failed, okay, then we're going to raise an exception. Okay, and we're going to say that the video indexing failed in Azure. All right. Elif the state is equal to quarantined. If the state comes out at quarantine, which means we're again going to raise an exception. Okay, which means video quarantined. And what is quarantine? Now, let's say if there is some copyright or content policy violation. So if there is a copyright or content policy violation, then it gets quarantined. Okay. All right. And after this, what we'll do is we will be logging again. Yeah. So I'm just going to say logger.info. Yeah. And we'll look for status. Okay, and at which state right now it is. Okay, so we'll see like status, whatever status it is, status failed or status processed or status quarantine, whatever, and we'll wait for 30 seconds. So I'll just say waiting 30 seconds. Yeah, so we're going to give a 30-second processing time. Okay, and if this does not work out in 30 seconds, we're just going to put it to sleep. Okay. All right. The next and the last part that we're going to do is see if things work fine, right? We're going to download the video, then we're going to upload the video to Azure Video Indexer, and then we're going to wait for the processing to happen. It is going to go through different states across 30 seconds. And let's say if the state gets processed, which means everything works fine, your video gets uploaded to Azure Video Indexer, then it is going to return some data, right? Now, when we get the data, see the data that it will return is going to be in JSON format, correct? So we need to parse this JSON format into our state format. Okay, which means basically we want to return it in such a way that what we have defined earlier, right? We want the transcript, we want the OCR text, we want the video metadata, all of that, right? So what we're going to do is we are going to extract only that data correctly, which is important to us or which is what we want. Okay, so let us create a function called as, I think this is where we write the function, right? Yeah, we'll create a function called as extract data. Okay, and in here I will pass the JSON, right? So we want the output in JSON. So what does it do? It basically parses the JSON into our state format. This is what it does. Okay, now first and foremost, what I'll do is I'll create an empty list called as transcript lines. Okay, and then I'll iterate over the vi json dot get. So what I'll do is I'll firstly get the videos. If nothing, then I'll just push in the empty list. Okay, now again what I'll do is I'll iterate over insights in, now don't worry, slowly and steadily we'll get an idea what we are doing. Okay, insights, if there are no insights, then empty list. I would say this one, insights like this. Okay, dot get, and what does it get? It gets the transcript, and if it does not get the transcript, then again empty list, and transcript dot or transcript underscore lines dot append. Okay, insight dot get text. Okay, so now basically if you just come till here, it might look a bit tricky. Okay, now what is happening is basically your Azure returns a massive JSON file with thousands of lines, every timestamp, every phase coordination, everything. See, we don't need all of that. Okay, what this script will do is that it digs into the JSON file. Okay, to transcript section. Okay, so it will take that entire JSON file. Okay, and it will dig into the JSON section to find the transcripts. Okay, it will only find transcript. You can see here get transcript. So from the entire JSON file we only want the transcript. Okay, and then we will be basically taking all of that text sentences. So transcript is what? It's text. We'll be taking all of that text and we'll be appending to transcript lines, which is the empty list that we have created. Okay, so in simple terms, massive JSON data gets created. We don't want all of that. We only want the text, and that is the reason we are passing it here. Okay, so we go yeah, I think that is pretty much it. And along with this, what we'll also do is, yeah, we also need to take the OCR, right? So we'll extract the text, and which is text from the transcript. See, we are extracting the text from the transcript, but we also need OCR, right? The text that appears on the screen, right? So we're again going to do for v in we're again going to dig through that JSON format. We're again going to dig through all the videos that we have, and what we are going to do is for insights in v.get, we're going to get the insights, but rather what we are interested in, we are interested in the OCR, which means the screen that is available, or sorry, the text that is available on the screen. That is what we are interested in. Okay, and we'll extract that text. Okay, and what we'll do is we'll just append that text to OCR lines, right? Because now we have the transcript, which is what the actors have spoken in that particular advertisement, and then we also have the text, right, which was appeared on the screen. Okay, and finally, see, this function is massive, right? I mean, it's creating so many things. Firstly, it is going through the entire JSON data that your Azure is creating and only extracting the transcript. Then it again goes through the entire JSON data and only extracts OCR lines, which is the text that appears on the screen. See, there is a lot of Azure metadata that gets generated. We don't want all of that. We only want a few things, and that is what we are doing here. So finally, what are we interested, or what do we want the users to see? Okay, we want the users to, I mean, what, not the users to see, rather what do we want in the end to be extracted? So transcripts is what we want, OCR text is what we want, right? So OCR text is nothing but OCR lines. Okay, this is what we want. I should put a comma here. Yeah, and then some part of video metadata also. There is a lot of video metadata that's get generated. We are not interested in all of it. We are interested in, let's say, duration, because see, many a times certain advertisements, let's say there are some YouTube advertisements which strictly need to be between 12 seconds to 15 seconds. And what if the duration is over, of that particular advertisement is over 15 seconds? So that's a duration violation, right? So duration is also important in this case. So what we're going to do is, from the JSON, we are going to create something called as summarized insights. No, yeah, the spelling is right. Summarized insights, and if nothing, then just empty. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to get the duration. All right, and obviously the platform also, which is what, which has to be YouTube, right? And voila. So guys, this is the video indexer code that we had written, which indexes the video and which performs so many things. Now this code might be a bit heavier at the start, but slowly and steadily, if you go through this, you will get a better idea what is being done here. Okay, so Azure identity.default credential, it's like the universal key. Okay, it's like basically it automatically finds the best way to log you into Azure, right, using your environment variables. So it is just doing that. Okay, nothing new. This is where we are. This is basically the, you can think of this as the setup phase. Okay, when you use this service, it immediately reads all your env variables, right, And what it does, it, if you see, it also initializes the Azure default credential, right? So that it is ready to log in into your Azure. Yeah, so you can think of this as it is gathering the necessary paperwork, simple terms. Yeah. Then you have the two layers of security where the access token gets generated, right? This is basically you are like asking the Azure system that, hey, you know what, the user has logged into Azure code, and can you give me a temporary pass to prove who I am? Okay, so basically this proves your identity. This is like the authentication code. Okay, and this is where you get the access token code. Okay, so it takes the pass from here. You generate the pass, it will take the pass from here. Okay, and it basically goes to the video indexer. Okay, and it goes to the video indexer, and then it will tell to video indexer that, hey, you know what, I have proved who I am, now give me the key to this specific account, and that is what it will do. Okay, so you can see this is where you get the access token. Then you will be downloading the YouTube video, correct? So basically, this function is going to download the YouTube video, right? So Azure Video Indexer cannot directly watch a YouTube link, right? So we must download it first and then send it to Azure manually, if you see, right? Then we need to upload it to Azure Video Indexer, right? And this, when we write the function here, which is upload video, this is just going to do a simple security check to make sure that the keys are fresh. Okay. API URL and parameters, if you check, so this basically prepares the instruction for Azure. Okay. Privacy or private means nobody else can see this video, right? And indexing preset is set to default. This tells the Azure to run the standard analysis. What is standard analysis? Which means look at the face, look at the text, look at the audio, etc. Just how the simple video processing happens. Okay. Then basically we're going to open the video file in the read binary mode. You can see here RB, right, which is raw data, right? See, thing is, the video gets opened into raw mode. Okay, and then if you see requests.post, right, which means it physically uploads the data, in this case the video, to Azure account, in this case Azure Video Indexer, right, to this particular API URL. To this API URL, it will be uploading the video, right? And then this is the waiting time where all the processing is taking place. Okay, and yeah, so if it enters a while loop, yeah, you can see it. If it enters a while loop, it's basically a true infinite loop, right? So it will basically asks Azure, is the video done yet? So it will keep on asking, is the video done, is the video done, etc., etc. Okay, should we, what is the state right now, what is it? So this, it will do the standard processing. This is just going to ensure that your code does not crash, right? So yeah, that is what we're doing here. And finally we come to the extract data part, where so what happens is, again, Azure returns massive JSON file, right? And that has thousands of lines. It has timestamp, it has face coordinates, it has so many things. We don't want all of that. We are only interested in a few things. Okay, firstly, we are only interested in transcript. So what we say to JSON, that, you know what, keep all your information with you, we are only interested in the transcript. What is transcript? It is nothing but, you can think of the script of the video. We are only interested in the script because we want to then cross check it with the policy, right? And so we're going to extract this transcript, okay, which is nothing but the text that is available, and we're going to append it to transcript lines. Similarly, we're also interested in the OCR part. Okay, so again, what we'll do is, this function will again go to or dig into your JSON data to find the OCR, which is optional character recognition text. Okay, sorry, optical. I'm so sorry, optical character recognition text, and it will see which all text is written on the screen. And then finally, what does it return? It returns you a dictionary, right? It basically now turns your raw data into a usable information. That is what it is doing, right? So finally, what is generated? Transcript is generated, OCR text is generated, and in video metadata, duration and platform gets generated. And this is all what is happening at the video processing level. All right. All right. So next, let's go to the next part where we will be going to the orchestration part, which is the main.py file. We'll build the main.py file and then we will execute it. Yeah. Thank you so much. Let's proceed.